Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys today something that just keeps popping up in like everything that we do. One of the principles that we identify very early on in all of our programming is that humans are we're creatures designed to be in constant communication to the land that we're living on. What that means is that our connection to the land determines our ability to adapt to changes happening in the environment around us. And so, if we're not in communication with the land, we'll not be able to adapt to the changes that are happening in our environment. If we're separated from, this is where disease or sickness begins to start to manifest itself. And so, I want to share with you guys today how important plant medicine is in the ability to be our vehicles for us to be able to communicate with the land. So I want to make sense of it. So what one of the things that I want us to understand is that plants are super old. We were created or developed after plants. And I think that plants, they just have this really incredible way to adapt to environmental stresses. And when we utilize plants as medicine, we inherit those adaptations. So when a plant suffers droughts or floods, viruses, bacteria, mites, whatever it is, the plant uses chemistry to be able to adapt to those changes or those stresses. And yeah, we inherit those adaptations. So the communication between human and environment happens when we utilize plants for medicine. It's a super important idea. It's why tea cupboard is so important. It's why constant engagement with plant medicine is so important. Is for to give us the ability to adapt to stresses and changes. And we evolved with plants, co-evolved with plants for thousands of years. Now we're so separated from it. And I think that that our connection or our relationship with all those different plants, utilizing them as medicines and some to a lesser extent foods for thousands of years, there's a really important reason for that. We need to be together in order for us to survive. All of the problems, like if we just break it down real quick, all of the problems that we're facing, like chronic disease, degenerative diseases, aging, and even some types of cancers, they're all very largely driven by inflammation. Like every chronic disease that ends in itis is an inflammation, like diverticulitis and dermatitis and arthritis, gingivitis, colitis. Everything that ends in itis is an inflammatory disease. And so, and then you look at aging, aging, the primary driving force of the aging process is inflammation. The more inflammation accumulated at a younger age, the faster you're going to age. There's even a term coined in literature called inflammaging. That's it's just a couple of years old. It's really fun to understand how important inflammation is in disease and management of these issues. So let's dive right into why plants are so important. One of the first things that we have to understand is that plants do not detox. There's no such thing as a detoxifying plant. We really need to break free from some of these silly social media ideas. um, then here I am on social media now. But plants are not detoxing plants. What we really need to look at and look for is plants and medicines that support your body's own, endogenous detoxification processes, like urine, or like your urinary tract and your colon, and so all of your poo poo and sweat, so your lymphatic system, and sometimes even your breath. And deep breathing and lungs and this sort of thing, super important to keep our body. That's where the detoxification happens. So we need to look for medicines that support each of those organs and processes and systems. That's how we achieve detox. But one that I really wanted to focus on today is antioxidants. Plants are not antioxidants. I hate this idea. To every time you see this on a label that something is an antioxidant, is just totally bogus. It's the most ridiculous thing. Like for instance, if we take Blueberries, you know, we have a way to measure how much oxygen free radicals that a one antioxidant can absorb. And so generally, like 1 unit of antioxidant contained within a blueberry absorbs and neutralizes one antioxidant. And what makes blueberries so famous, being one of the top antioxidant foods in the world, is that the one serving of blueberries or whatever can score like 3,000 on the ORAC scores, so the oxygen radical absorption capacity. It could score 3,000, which is like huge. And so that's 3,000 units of free radicals that one serving of blueberries removes from your body, which is super cool and important. But what we have to understand is that your body has endogenous antioxidant enzymes, antioxidant pathways and processes that is built into our being. And most of the most powerful antioxidant pathways are antioxidant enzymes. So superoxide dismutase and glutathione, catalase and hemioxygenase. These are some of the most powerful antioxidants in the planet, and they're within us. Our liver makes it on its own. And so what's really significant about that is you have one molecule of one glutathione enzyme is able to scavenge like 9 million, or able to scavenge millions of free radicals every minute. It's not 1 unit absorbs one free radical or oxidative stress, like in blueberries. It's one enzyme can scavenge and neutralize and eliminate millions of free radicals every minute. So like you look at the most powerful antioxidant on the planet that's ever been looked at and measured in this ORAC score is chaga, and chaga can score 7 to 9 million in some of the properly prepared techniques. So chaga, the most powerful antioxidant in the world, it's like one molecule of glutathione roaming around through your body for 9 minutes. And so some of the medicine that we use actually support the production of endogenous antioxidants, but also allow them to live longer, and so reducing the enzymes that break down the antioxidant enzymes. But yeah, anyways, the one of the things that we have to understand when you're looking at plants and using plants as antioxidants is that, number one, they're destroyed in the gut. Like your gut completely obliterates almost all of the antioxidants coming in. Number two, where the antioxidant is sort of contained is within a polyphenol. It's that polyphenol that is responsible for the antioxidant action. Polyphenols, if you do not have super healthy gut flora, the polyphenols are not broken down properly and they're just completely worthless. Like look at the bioavailability of an antioxidant from a plant, and like for blueberries, it's between 1 and 8%. So you take those 3,000 units of antioxidants that you're putting inside of your body with a serving of blueberries, you're only getting like 30 that are going through your body. And so you could just reduce the idea of antioxidants in plants to just almost completely nothing. It's really, really annoying to try to for us to use plants as antioxidants. What we need to look at is that these plants stimulate or encourage and activate your body's own endogenous antioxidant processes. But this is where that communication between humans and the land that we're living on, why this is so important, and why having a tea cupboard like this and learning, spending and dedicating time to learning about the land that you're living on is so important, is because like we could look at it this way. If you're looking at like when you get injured, your body, when you have injury or infection, your body needs inflammation to be able to heal from that. So if you get injured or if you have an infection, your body will activate this nuclear factor called nuclear factor kappa B. NF kappa B is, and what that does is activate the influences inflammatory gene expression. So all of these genes are activated that are creating a whole bunch of inflammation to give you what you need to fight the infection or heal from injury. And so NF kappa B turns you into this inflammation producing machine. And so you're going to be able to heal faster, and you're going to be able to fight the infection a lot easier if this is the way that so NF kappa B plays a super important role. One of the biggest risks associated with aging is that NF kappa B expression is reduced, and you have a lower ability to fight infections and heal from injuries because you're not able to make inflammation the same way anymore. Anyways, what we need to understand is that NF kappa B, causer of inflammation, this needs to be balanced. There's an antagonist to this story, and how do we achieve that balance? The antagonist to NF kappa B is NRF2, which is responsible for controlling the expression of over 800 genes that are responsible for all of your body's antioxidant and anti-inflammatory processes. So it's a balancing act between NF kappa B and NRF2. They balance between one another. They're two opposite forces, inflammation and anti-inflammation. And so how do we get more NRF2 in our body? How do we achieve this balance? It doesn't just happen on its own. This process is almost entirely reliant on plants and some sort of a genetic intervention. And the way that I like to say it is that we could summarize the ability for our body to express NRF2 and combat all of this inflammation is with our culture. So many different cultural components, the foods we eat, fasting protocol, sweat lodges, medicine. And of course, I want to talk to you about medicine real quick. It's the easiest way to understand this. So you have NRF2 sits all over in your body. NRF2 sits in like the membrane of every cell. But it's bound to that membrane. In order for NRF2 to be activated, it has to get to the nucleus. In the nucleus of the cell, that's where it begins to instruct all of these 800 antioxidant, anti-inflammatory processes. That's what you need to happen. But there's a protein there called KEAP1 or KEAP2, depending on the type of cell. And proteins will keep the NRF2 in the membrane, not allow it to go and conduct all of these processes. What breaks that, though, what happens when we look at medicine, whether it's mental health medicine or muscle medicine or spinal medicine, just have a bunch of plants, or liver medicine, all of these medicines will separate, they'll uncleave that keep protein from NRF2, allowing it to go to the nucleus, and then that's where it does the instruction. That's where it says antioxidants and anti-inflammatory processes begin, and then your body is able to combat all of those that has been created by NF kappa B. And so it gives us the ability to be able to communicate to our body, to tell our body, hey, I cannot have inflammation in and around my liver anymore. I cannot have inflammation in ROS species, reactive oxygen species, infecting and inoculating every one of my muscular tissues, my mental health. I really need to be able to have anti-inflammatory action in my central nervous system and then in my back. So that's what all of these plants do, the separation of KEAP1 and KEAP2. That's something that you're always going to be reading if you dig into the literature, is plant medicine and their role in stimulating your body's own endogenous cleanup crew. And so now you take the separation from land and not engaging in Nishnabemshkika, not engaging in culture, means no NRF2, means inflammation, NF kappa B, and inflammation can just go crazy for our whole lives. And when that happens, inflammation is wild, disease is wild, aging is a super fast, expedited process. We're like 50 years old dealing with multiple chronic diseases, multiple bouts of cancer, autoimmunity developing, and what this really comes down to is how important it is to be able to identify how important medicine is. and how important and why we're so obsessed with our connection to the land or land-based learning. It plays a super important role in understanding basically every chronic disease and degenerative disease, and the aging process itself is all embedded within this idea that we need to be in constant communication with the land that we're living on, using this medicine to teach our bodies how to live and deal with the situations that are happening all around us. It is your environment that is controlling your health. Your epigenome is responsible for controlling your health. Your genes do not do this. It's your environment and the way that you choose to live your life. And so I just wanted to be able to spend a couple minutes with you to be able to share. It's just one of those ideas that I've just been hammering in everybody all week long. And it's a super important thing to be able to understand. The more time that we spend outside, the happier and healthier we're going to be. And it's just as simple as that. So yeah, uh, thanks, I guess. we'll we'll go for our walk now.